At the next assignment, and basically it consists on using redux as a technique for maintaining state in the application. Up to this point, we've been using the standard state management that comes out of the box with React, where you have components declaring a state variable, right? And then making sure to manipulate that state, to evolve that state over time as users interact with the application, right? As they click and drag and type and interact with the application, we mutate the state over time, right, using this set state, right? And we make changes to the state, and then those changes in the state then propagate through the UI so that it renders with the new state. So for this assignment, we're going to be adding a new feature to our application, and instead of using the default state management features, we're going to instead using Redux. Right? So because we're still working on the same application all throughout the semester, where we have split it into two halves. The first half is targeting a particular audience, the faculty folks who are going to be authoring the courses. And up to this point, we have the faculty be able to create courses, be able to create modules, lessons, whatnot, right? So we're going to be adding the capability of adding widgets, creating widgets, retrieving all the widgets for a particular topic, updating a widget, deleting a widget, changing the state of a widget. There are several types of widgets. There are heading widgets. Heading widgets allow us to add just a simple heading, right? Where you have some text and you decide what the size of the heading is. So each widget has a different set of editors that allow you to edit that particular widget, right? So for instance, the heading widget allows you to choose the size of the widget, the text of the widget, and down below it shows you a preview of what the widget would look like if a student or someone would look at this once it's been deployed. We have also a paragraph widget, which is just a simple paragraph, just text surrounded with a p tag. So we can just type in the paragraph in this text area, and we can see the preview of that paragraph down below. We have a list widget, which allows us to type items in a text area, and if we put the items in separate lines, then they become individual line items, right? And you can also configure what type of list you want: ordered list, unordered list, and down below you see the preview, right, of the list widget. And finally, we have the image widget that allows you to copy and paste a URL to an image that lives anywhere on the web. Here we have the example that I have here is it's a website that allows you to just pick random images of a particular size, and basically it shows you down below the preview of what that would look like. Oh, and there's one more. Sorry, there's a link widget. The link widget allows you to type any text and then link that text so that if you click on that text, it navigates to that document. Okay. All the widgets have some common controls that are common to all the widgets. They all have an X button so that you can remove the widget. You have also two position buttons that allow you to move the widget up and down so you can reorder the widget, put them in a particular order. And also you have a drop down that allows you to, on the fly, change the type of the widget. Right? So if you select here from the drop down and I want a paragraph widget, then you select it and then it's on the fly changes as a paragraph widget, right? Without losing whatever text you might have typed for whatever widget you were looking at. Okay. So yeah, so you have those 5 types of widgets. We'll build a couple here in class, and then you have this the preview down below. So they all have a preview. They all have also this field called widget name that allows you to give the widget a unique name, so that later on in other features we'll see that we can refer to widgets. We say, hey, that widget over there that has that specific name, we can refer to it and retrieve some data that you might have added here. We won't be using it for now, but they all have this common name field. Okay. What else? There's also a preview here, a button that it's above all the widgets, right? So right above the list of the widgets, there's a preview button that if you toggle it, allows you to take a look at what the widgets would look like if this were actually deployed and somebody might look at the end result, right, of all these widgets. For instance, the heading widget, all the forms go away, right? All the drop-downs go away, and all the editing form goes away. It only shows the preview of what the heading might look like. Right? Same thing with the list widget. The text area goes away. Where you can select the type of the list widget. That goes away. Everything goes away. You're only left over with the actual preview of what the widget might look like. Yes, right. And you can toggle that at the top. This save here, this button, we don't need it for now. Well, I guess it depends on how you intend to build this. You might need it and you might not need it, so it's optional. It's up to you. If you build it in a particular way, then you will need the save button, right? But the intent here is that you might choose to implement in such a way where all the modifications, as you're editing all these widgets, they're not saved into the state until you actually click save. Instead, they're saved into internal state of the widgets, and then when you click on save, you would iterate over all these widgets and make the change permanent. Or if you decide that as you modify each one of the widgets, you update the state, the redux state right away, then there is no need for the save button. Okay? So it depends. Depends which way you decide to go, how to implement this. The save button might become more relevant a little later, next week, when we start. We want to make these changes permanent, right? We like to be able to send all this state over to the server and make it saved on the server state, right? We don't have a server just yet, so this save button is it's a little irrelevant. Again, depending on which way you go, all right? Let's see what else. Here's just an example of just a couple of widgets as folks are editing the widgets. So here's somebody editing the heading widget, editing the list widget, and when they click on preview, when they toggle the preview, all the forms go away. You're only left with the preview right here, the preview for the heading and the preview for the list. See that? Right. So when I toggle it, I'm only left over with the preview of each one of the widgets. Make sense? Right. This is what a student might see. Right. Only the faculty can see all the editors and the forms to edit the widget. Right. But the student might not be able to see any of that. Up here also we have some suggestions on what the redux action names might be. Right. So as there's a plus button at the bottom of the page. You can put this plus button anywhere you want. It could be at the bottom. You can put it at the top if you prefer. But as you click on the plus button, a new widget gets added at the bottom. Okay, and there's the default type of the widget. I'm suggesting that the default type of the widget should be a heading widget with some default text and some default size. But then obviously the faculty can change that. We can change the actual type of the widget on the fly. So I'm suggesting here that the name of the action for that in Redux be called create_widget. If you click on the delete, if you delete a widget, then I'm suggesting that the name of that action should be delete widget. Find all widgets or find widgets for topics is also useful for knowing the topic. Which widgets should I list? Should I display? Right. Each topic will have different widgets. So here's also an example of what the name for that action should be. Update widget is if you're saving or you're changing the state of the widget, the type, the text. If you click on save, or whether you're doing it on the fly, every keystroke you're saving the state. I'm suggesting that you use the update widget action name. Okay. Anyway, we'll get started and play around with some of this together today and see how far we go. Again, I'll make the code available for you so that you can use that as a starting point. Just like we did for course service, where we were maintaining the state in a particular class, we call it course service. Here, where I'm suggesting that we maintain the state in a widget service. And a widget service will be responsible for maintaining the array that we're adding to, removing from, right, that we're splicing, and we're editing as we go. So widget service would be responsible for maintaining that state. What else? So anyway, so this is the feature that we're adding this week of manipulating widgets for a topic. Okay. Any questions?